We will begin with the following question with you, Mr. Gentle. If someone requests an inspection before the general election, will you allow a digital inspection of your records, or will you insist on a physical inspection? And that is based off of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Public Disclosure Commission has recommended digital inspection of campaign financial records. So the question is, would you allow that digital, or would you insist on a physical inspection?
Well, this would be the easiest question I get all night. My records have been open since the beginning. I ran as a full filer, so right now, if you're watching, you don't even have to wait until we're done. Open up another window on your laptop or your computer, go to the PDC, type in John Gentle. You can see every donor, and it's been that way from the beginning. Ironically enough, the reason it's been that way from the beginning was because Phyllis has been reprimanding the county for a few years now for lack of transparency. I took that to heart, I took that seriously, and I ran an open campaign funding, okay? All of my records have been open from day one. They're open right now. Feel free to look. Strangely enough, Phyllis Kardos has decided to run the mini filing option. I'd like to say that was just because of the work involved in the bookkeeping or the extra hassles there, but she was asked very clearly, and she said some of her donors don't want their name in the paper. To me, that's exactly the opposite of transparency. So we see this across the country, do as I say, not as I do, and it's a little mystifying to me. I really, that one surprised me.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
And the same question.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Would you like me to repeat it again?
So let me get some background information here. Is that during the 10 days preceding the primary or general, a special election in which a candidate's name is on the ballot, the campaign books of account showing all contributions received, expenditures made, and outstanding debts must be open for public inspection. That is, I chose to go with minimum, which is a $5,000 limit on donations and on spending, because I don't like to spend a lot of money. I don't like to spend money on signs and campaign paraphernalia that's going to end up in the landfill. When the primaries were over, I thought, I better go to general. I better go to full reporting. And I even let Mr. Gentle know that I'd be going to full reporting. And the more I thought about it, and it didn't take me very long to think about it, it is not my nature to just spend that kind of money. Who has the most signs? Am I going to be elected because I have the most signs up or the biggest signs? Well, I would like to be elected based on my qualifications and my interests, not because I out-sign somebody. And anyway, during the primary, a lot of my signs got taken and stolen. And I wasn't going to give anyone else the privilege of taking more of those signs. And so I talked with my treasurer, and we made that decision together to not go. I don't know where John gets his information from, but to not go to full reporting for those reasons. I didn't want to spend any more money. It just didn't feel right for me. And so I run my own campaign. And so we made that decision together. But to answer the questions, I prefer a physical inspection of my records for the general election, just as I did for the primary, and for a number of reasons. One reason is to be available to answer questions. During the primary, I had a gentleman who came up and inspected the books. He had 3 or 4 questions. Able to answer them. My treasurer and I were both there. So, if the weather permits during the 10-day window for inspection during the general, it just may be held outside again. With a COVID-19, an outside venue, according to the health experts, is safer than an inside venue. Whether the physical inspection of our books takes place outside or inside, all COVID health and safety measures will be taken. just as they were during the primary inspection. The table was sanitized, we had gloves, we had wipes, we had masks, and even water were made available to the gentlemen. More than 6 feet distancing was respected while the books were being inspected. I am doing nothing, my treasurer and I are doing nothing to violate PDC standards by going with a physical inspection of the books. That is all within the guidelines. That's all we're doing is following the guidelines, and we've been given that option. That's my preference. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.